Hello everyone, how you doing? RggV here, and we are back with another video. This time around we are back with a different kind of video, and it's gonna come as a little of a surprise to most of you. As many of you probably already know, the World Cup of Pokemon is about to start. The qualifiers are in the final stages at the moment, and the main event will be in June. And I have by surprise decided to join Team Latin America, and this is a bit of a surprise because, you know, I only really done laddering. I haven't done anything like tours or tournaments. This is gonna be my first one, and well, I'm gonna show you a bit of the path of how I joined the team. Of course, I'm not really known as a player, so it's not like they would add me to the team from the get-go, so I had to do some tryouts to get into the team, and I'm gonna show you the path of it. Of course, I am from Honduras, proud Latin American, so I joined the Latin American team, and we're gonna get into the matches in a bit, just talking a little bit about the World Cup. It is a team tournament that is represented by different regions or countries. Latin America has many countries that don't have enough players. That's why they have a region team as well, which is the one I joined, as Honduras, of course, does not have a team of its own. And all this started because Stormzone, he normally plays for Team Latin America as well, had messaged me and told me that I should think about joining, so I kind of gave it some thought. And I decided to message the manager for the team, Amy Quares, and ask about how I would go about joining the team. And well, they told me that they would have some tryouts to define the last 3 spots for the team. World Cup has, the team is of 8 players and 4 subs, a total of 12. And I think every player has to play 2 games between the other teams or randomly, and then they prorogate the points about wins and losses. But yeah, so by the first part of the trial, we had to do group stages, sort of like if you like football or any other sport, in which it would be basically a round robin, and the first 2 of each group would pass, which were 3 per group. So I had to play 2 matches, and if I won one, I would qualify, as long as there was not a triple tie. And if I won both, then for sure I would have passed as the first place. But let's get into those, and I'll show you the first match. And of course, just because these are tournament games doesn't mean we're not gonna load up the heat, which is exactly what I used throughout the whole tryout. So let's get into the first match. Okay, so I played my first group match against TFG Spectia. I used the Galade bulky offense, which is it was actually the team I had the most success with recently out of the recent teams, so I decided to lead off with that. And let's see here, we play a very standard match. It is a Rotom. Turns out it is T-Wave, so I know this is gonna be probably going to be Will-O-Wisp with X, of course. The plays well with the Garganacl. Cora goes for the Granite. I'm not scared. Well, now that I see lefties, of course it's going to be sub, so I'm not letting it sub at all, of course. I go for the foul play. I'm gonna keep foul playing here. I have no reason to do anything else. There I go for the Spore. Yeah, just in case he went for the Wisp, because I expected that. I can do a little bit of hacks in here because I get double Wisp miss here with the foul play. Let's see. So we get the Rotom to sleep. Of course, it brings down the King Gambit. Getting the Tusk, no problem here. And I think I'm leftovers here. We just play around some parts. Goes for the Quiver Dance, and this thing is scary, so I don't mind losing Valiant here to cripple this. He goes for the Wisp, which is still good for me, and I go for the Moonblast as I have nothing else to do here. And if I'm not mistaken, I knock off here just to get rid of these lefties that can be annoying. Goes for the Salt here. Go for the Among Us, and Volcarona comes back in. He plays here. I go for the Future Sight, and I'm able to get officially reception here. At this point, I think in the video that you guys have seen, I used Sword Sense here. I use Agility, so I go straight for the Sacred Sword. Of course, I don't want to deal with Volcarona, and I think here I actually almost clicked Sacred Sword because I knew I was gonna do this, but I went for the Violence instead of giving him Slowking. I thought he would Terra, so I go for the Moonblast. Should have just gone for the close combat. I get a free task here, and I'm just gonna click Earthquake. Chip this off as it already doesn't have any leftovers. Here I go for the Rapid Spin. I should have gone for maybe a knockoff here, because here I misplay a lot. I go for the Stealth Rocks when they could have easily killed with a knockoff and then get my rocks up. That was a super misplay by me. I get the Galadine, I go Psycho Cut just in case he goes Volcarona, which he brings right now. Of course, I don't want this to be burned, so I go into Slowking. I'm not too scared. However, this again was misplay because he actually this could have gone very, very bad if I had Parad. I bring the Among Us in, so I'm gonna support this, of course. And Ironhead plus the Paralyze, he could have easily flinched me there and game would have turned way bad. So I did a lot of misplay here. I still get this at the end. I'm scared that he is no Sucker maybe. Low kick, so I go for the Fire Terra and go for that. Here I have no reason to risk this, so I just play around, kill this with Surf, and that's game, of course, because this won't be able to break King Gambit, and I can get a Sword Stand up here because I'm not sure yet what the Terra on Garganacl is. So having the Sword Stand is going to be good for me. That's the first game that I win. Then for the second game, I blow up the Mudsteel Rain. And here I do a lot of misplays here. I was scared of this being like some Sword Stand stuff. So I bring in the Yasu, and here, well, unfortunately, I get a bit of hacks, I guess, but I guess that's justice from the last time. I missed a play rough, which of course is going to make me lose Asu. I guess that crate sort of compensates a tad bit, but not really. I bring the Float Sail in just to avoid this thing going to something else. And he brings in the Glimora. I know this is Sash, so I don't want to let it... And he actually reads that, he goes for the Dazzling Glim, which was a fine play by him. Go for the Mouse Hold. I just want to get rid of these rocks at this point. So I tidy up. And I think I go for the Bite here, trying to get a flinch, which I don't, and I get killed by the Focus Blast. Flinch would have been great, because then I would have been able to basically run through most of his team. I go for the Wave Crash here, get rid of this thing. He brings in the Pult. I go for the Peli. I'm guessing this one as well could have been this Slifer, right? Yeah, so I don't mind that. I go for the Float Sail. I know it's gonna be Sash, and I hate this because the fact that this, even if this was not Sash, the fact that this Mudsteel is going to be burnt is actually pretty bad for me. Because otherwise you're gonna see the game would have gone way differently. I know it's gonna go for the Dazzling Gleam here, so, or Energy Bolt, so I just go straight for the Steel Terra. Reduce the amount of damage taken as much as I can. He probably expects me to be Earthquake at this point, so I only have Heavy Slam, so there's not much more I can press anyways. But of course, I would have known that he was gonna trick me and not click Earthquake, because I wouldn't have been able to hit D-Knight. And here, of course, we are in a pretty weird situation, which Mudsteel, we know, is super strong, could could have potentially beaten the D-Knight. You see that it's 16. Of course, that was in let's see. We go for the heavy slam. We're at 50. That does 30. That does 16. That's a +1. Of course, that's half the damage, but that was still enough for Fire Punch to kill. And I think that Fire Punch barely killed me, because if it did 16, which was half, that means it would have done 32 at +1, and then I was at +2. That probably reduced like 6%, so that was maybe around 25. Without that Toxic Spikes, I would have won this game. I would have won this game. Matsu was so close. And last game, I load up one of Maverick's shooters teams. I go for the AV Slowbro team. This game, I don't really remember too much how it went. This is specs for sure. And I take it from there. I go for the future site. I don't have much months that can take specs from Valiant. I just go for the U-turn here. Maybe I should have gone for Garg, because I would have been able to block, but I decided to go for the bolt. Just click the Dragon Darts. Here I almost as well clicked darts expecting this, and I didn't really want to risk it here, so I just take it out. And with the damage, I know he is going to be Whisper probably, but he doesn't risk it as well. He might probably expected a Fire Terra here. Probably expected that, so he switches, and I go for Slowbro just in case he goes for a Wisp, just to get some HP back. But I go for the future side there. Then at this point I'm in Blaze %, so I just go for the Pyro Ball. See, this does just enough damage to kill both with the future side, because I knew it was at this %. I go for the Wisp here. I think that's worth it. And here I misplay. This play here is part of the reason I lost. I had to go for Slowbro, get that HP back. As soon as I clicked Great Tusk and I couldn't go back on it, I realized I had messed up. I had to go for Slowbro, yes or yes, because I had nothing else now at this point that could take more than one Valiant. And it's not that I was too much faster than it, because a Hex from Put would not kill. See, at this point, if I had brought in a Slowbro before, I wouldn't have been forced out. I would have been able to at least get a future side up. Here, I think I just go for the Sucker. Yeah, to get this at a point that Hex could have killed Raw. And again, this is the same situation. If I had brought my my Slowbro in that turn before, I wouldn't be in the situation where Slowbro couldn't take a hit from Valiant. Here I went for Surf, I think. Yep, and that does kill. And then I get ultra destroyed by the matchup Moth here. With the sub, with the Grass Terra, there's nothing I can do at this point. I'm completely destroyed here. Like, there's nothing I could have done. So I just take it, and that's game. I lose my first set. This is not looking too spicy for me, but of course we don't give up just yet. Okay, so this second match for the group, I need to win this set, because otherwise I'm out. I start off, and this is gonna be something funny. I start off with Sun, and I actually made this thing because I'm trying to make a Charizard team. That was a request, and I was just messing around with a lot of Charizard sets, and I put this in the Typhlosion team that I had, and I actually have this Charizard has 2 moves, and I think it's Flare Blitz and something else. I think it's Flare Blitz Acrobatics, and it has an item. It's something as stupid as that, because I forgot that, because the name still has a Typhlosion name, and I forgot to change it, and I forgot that it had Charizard like this, and then I just automatically clicked on it super fast. So the match here, Let's see. It's not that he's gonna start with the muff. Of course, I go for the hat. I think he reads the sludge wave. I lose hat. Of course, not much more I could have done. Not the best start. We go for the Diablo here. We of course click U-turn. We get the Charizard, and I get the Flare Blitz on the Cluster, which was still good for me. Go for this. At this point, I think I leave Charizard for the sacking low, because it's not gonna do much more. Like what it did to Gladsar was actually pretty good already. I just go for the Draco meter. Oh, I go for the flamethrower. Yeah. I knew he wasn't gonna stay Dondoso, so in case he went Corvi for the Draco, like went for the flamethrower. Here he brings in the muff. I bring the Walking Wakes in, and I go for the Hydros team, I think. Yep. That's enough for it to kill Corva, the next one. Now, this does some nice damage to Dondoso, so I know I can break it later on. I bring the Torkoal in, goes for the body press. Here I go for the double. Yeah, I go for the double. I go again for the Hydro Steam, which does just enough to break. And I think I Water Terra here to destroy this. Yep, I do. Now, this point, I know this mon is important, but I can't switch out. So I get a nice read here. I know I'm gonna faster. I go for the Hydro Steam. Now, how did I choke this? Because here he goes for the Grass Terra. I lose because of that. The Walking Wakes. I should have just doubled just in case. Here I can, of course, freely U-turn. I can then get my Tusk, which has a an eject pack. I go for the close combat because I don't want this to heal. And then I go for Oracle. Yep. Goes for the Tusk, which has, of course, defensive. A defensive attack boost. Here I misplay because I thought, well, of course I lose the speed tie as well, and of course at this point I know I'm a gunner because he just had to swap out, and Outrage wouldn't have killed, and that's why I lose here. Though Outrage did way more than I expected. With it, knowing that, if I had gone to Roaring Moon on the last one and clicked Outrage before, I might have won. I guess at the end it was again depending on if I won the speed tie on the task or not. But yeah, I lose the first game here. Again, this is not looking good for me. I think this was the first game, yeah. Then I bring in again the Gallade offense. This game was quite a bit faster. Get the Slow King. I know I take the Shadow Ball. This tells me this is Scarf, not a Specs or something else. And I go for the King Gambit, and I straight up start setting up. Or no. Well, maybe I kind of spoiled it for you. Here I go for the Spore. Go for the Slow King. I guess I'm reading. Maybe he went for a Focus Blast or something. He goes for the Shadow Ball. Then I go for the King Gambit. At this point, I know he's gonna body press, so I go for another Kotal here. I know he's gonna Roost, so go for another Kotal. And since I'm seeing that he's gonna stay here, then I decide to go for another Sword Sense. I should have just done that from the beginning. Take this. I get lucky here with a crit. He brings in the Clodsire, of course. That's gonna die to this because it's gonna be Water Absorb. And at this point, there's not much more he can do. He goes for the Nasty Plot. I knew he wasn't going to click anything else. I thought he was gonna go for Trick, actually. I think this doesn't want hit KO, but at this point, there's not much more he can do. And I just sort of destroyed with a fallen King Gambit. That's how broken this mon is. And even though I played that like shit, because I should have clicked SD at the second turn, but I didn't because I thought he was gonna U-turn into Coldengo, but I should have just really kept clicking SD until then. But yeah, now we go into the last battle, and I brought up again the Matsu Rain. He brings in a web steam, which I'm glad I brought here. Go for the population bomb. He goes for the ghost terra, so it's a good thing that he doesn't have a terra to deal with. I anchor, and now I start to tidy up. I don't mind this. Of course, I can tidy up until until I can kill off with bite. Here I'm scared, so I go for the Pelipper, but I think at that point population bomb would have killed, so I actually should have just gone for that. I go for the Hurricane just in case he brought the wake in. He hits his Loomberry, which doesn't really matter too much because I don't have a Wisp or anything here. Goes for Masquerain. I go for my rocks. Go for the Mousehold. I did not expect him to go for that. At this point, I go for the tidy up again. And I say, you know what? I'm just gonna click population bomb on this Tusk. I'm not scared of it anymore, which I should have done the first time. And of course, it one-hit KOs. I go for the bite here. He goes for the Quiver Dance. At this point, doesn't matter. I'm still faster. So I just go for another bite. Maybe he expected me to be low kick or something that I wouldn't been able to kill. Here I bring up Mudsdale again. He goes for the Sucker. I knew he was going to bring Hat in, so I go for the Heavy Slam. This is very defensive. He goes for the backs. He probably expects to kill me. I go for the Body Press. And I know he's going to be Icicle Spear, which still does not kill me. And at this point, I'm really not scared of anything already. I know this game is in the bag. I go for the Play Rough. I go for the Pelly. Even if he has this, I'm not scared of it. I die here, and I sort of go for the Earth Power. Go for the second Earth Power. Here I could have gone to Asu. I think that would have been the best play. He goes for the sub, and I find out that I'm actually faster than him, so it was a good thing I didn't go for Asu. He kills me off with that, and I'm gonna go Asu here because I don't want to risk Hydra Gun not killing. I go for the Play Rough. I let him. What did I go for? I was actually expecting him to go for an Iron Head, so that's why I went for this. At play at the end, but at this point I'm not too scared. I know I can force him to Sucker Punch again, and I just go for the Mousehold to Anchor. Now this was a misplay as well, because if by any chance that population bomb that is coming up would have hit one time, I lost. He had already suckered. I just had to go Anchor, and in any case, Floatzel would have been able to kill this thing with a Wave Crash. That was a hell of a misplay. Good thing the population bomb did not miss, but it could have happened, and that was so ugly misplay. I was playing so bad during this first round. I was actually scared I was not gonna make it. So actually, after I won the last set, that passed me through the group stage because TFG Spectre beat Juanita Trainer as well, so I passed as second place. I had to play first place for another group as well, and I played against a guy called Watermelon Sugar. His tag on ladder at least is Tempo di Anguria, if I'm not mistaken. And I actually beat him 2-0. I don't have the replays. We sent those live to the people who were watching the games, so I don't have them as a replay. But I won using game 1. I actually used the World Cup Lucario team, this one here. Lucario, I think it killed a Tusk with Psychic, and I think it forced a Terra, a Ghost Terra. I don't remember. And I ended up winning with the Muff. I'm not mistaken, with the Fairy Muff. Then I went to second game with this Snowflake. He used a Side Spam, the Excalibur Tusk Side Spam team. And I was... No, he actually had a Bex and a Valiant. in side spam. Actually, the Valiant would have swept us if not for the Choppleberry. Took the close combat, killed with a flash cannon, and CRYO with the scarf avoided me from getting swept by the Excalibur that came after I killed the Valiant. He did it once, he Dragon Terra, so he survived the flash cannon. But at that point I knew CRYO was going to be faster and beat it, even with the modest. Nice speed tier from CRYO, and with that I won the game for that set. Then I went into the semifinals. This is already the semifinals, and I play against No Stall. This team that I'm loading up is Greninja Hazardsack that Maverick Shooters passed to me. And here we start awfully. I played this game, I played it so bad. I lead Volcarona just in case this was either Hisuian Zoroark or Great Tusk. This was probably Focus Sash now that I think about it. I go for the Grass Knot, and I didn't want to swap out in case he went for the Belly Drum, so I went for the Grass Knot again. I thought he was gonna trade for the Play Rough, but he doesn't. I go to Pult here, and I go for the Will-O-Wisp in case he did this that he does right now. Go for the Asu. I go for the Goldengo now, and I make it rain. Now this was a misplay, as I should have nasty plotted just in case he, because of this. Now I'm giving this Roaring Moon a free setup. I go for the nasty plot, and then I go for my Flying Terra. I expected Earthquake, to be honest, but I goes for this, and I go for the Make It Rain, which doesn't completely kill. Unfortunate, right? But that's what it is. Garg takes the Earthquake, barely survives, and kills back, but I'm in a pretty bad place here. However, Pult can still win this for me. Now, this is where it all goes bad. I was running a 50-50 about Wisp or Sub. He reads correctly, I go for the Wisp straight up, and I get slapped up, and even worse, the Will-O-Wisp misses. Here I don't mind getting tricked. I don't have Ice Beam, so I just go for the Hydro Pump. I go for the Hydro Pump again, and unfortunate, because with that Wisp I actually would have won at the end still. The Thunder Punch was a surprise, but it's all still good at this point. I go for the knockoff just to destroy this thing up. He goes for the Breloom. I don't know what he's bored, what he was trying to do, or if he just forgot. I go for the knockoff, and he goes for the SD later on. I think I go for the Rapid Spin here. Yeah. But at this point, my only hope is if Pult wakes up on the next turn, because of course he's going to have Mach Punch. But Pult doesn't wake up, and that means I lose the game, because Pult would have won otherwise. I just Wisp this and Hexed, and Dragon Darts would have killed, or of course Greninja would have killed both Tusk and Hisuian Zoroark. So I lose this first game here, and on the second game I go nuts and just say, you know, fuck it, I'm gonna load the Flapple Heat team, and we start the match with the Ting Lu. I start with the Torkoal. I don't want to have to deal with this, so I go for my rocks. I go for the Tusk. I know he's going to go for Tusk here, but I still go for the Headlong Rush just in case it goes Goldengo. I was scared that Goldengo was going to be Balloon, because then that would have been super bad for me. At this point I say, hey, let's go Wake, just in case it goes for the knockoff, because I don't want to lose my Scarf here. Yep, it was going to be very good. And I know he's gonna go for Pex here, so I double into the Tusk. If he goes Tusk again, I could Ground Terra, and I think that would kill the Tusk. But he goes for the Meowscarada, which was a good play. I crit, unfortunately for him. And now you can't see it on the chat here, but I say my bad, and I actually meant that. But every time I show this replay to someone, everyone's like, oh, so you said my bad, to bait him into believing that he would have forced you out and hide the Scarf. I'm not that evil, guys. I'm not that evil. I actually said my bad because it was a crit, and Meow Scarlet would have lived otherwise. I don't know if it actually did something on him believing that that meant my task was not safe, because I was actually gonna swap out, because for me that Meow Scarlet up to this day was Scarf. I'm not sure, but I'm thinking it was Scarf. I would have swapped out. Then well, of course, I'm just gonna have long rush this with the attack boost. It's going to be enough, and he brings in his own task, and I go for the Wakes. I know it's going to kill me, but I don't mind, because Wake's not gonna do anything here. And every time it comes up, it's going to lose to packs. He goes for the bulk up, and I'm just gonna go for the water, a Hydro Steam. Okay, he goes for the Rapid Spin, which is okay for me. I can go to Torkoal and force him to click Earthquake, because otherwise he dies to this. And with the boost, with the Sun out, yeah, he kills, I know that. But with that, Sandy Chucks is going to be faster. And I can go for the Gravity here. Now, first I go for the Earth Power. And I know he's gonna Earthquake to kill my Sandy Chucks, but I go for he actually Whirlwinds. And lets me bring Blissey in. That's good for me. I can Healing Witch as he tries to do this and prolong this through my Gravity and Sun, but I won't let him. I bring the Flapple. Look at that damage from the Flapple here. I was tempted to go for the Dragon Dance, but I didn't want to risk a Whirlwind. I go for that Grav Apple, got a crit. Doesn't really matter, because what happens next, he was not expecting it. The Sucker Punch kills. And this is a game. This is a done game already. I don't care what he does here. I go for this. And I was hoping this not to miss. But anyways, probably would have won with Toss now that he was still. Go for the Grav Apple, does insane amounts of damage even without the Gravity. And the Flapple doing amazing work in basically a tournament match, we could say. At this point, I was actually thinking of going something else, sacking Sandy Chucks to get another Gravity in, and then bring Flapple and finish this off with Flapple, but I didn't want to really risk it. I know at this point Tusk wins. I just needed to, even if Grav Apple missed, this wouldn't take to close combats at that percent. And I would have been able to win with Tusk combined with the Handling Rush, combining it with Sandy Chucks as well. So we win this one. And for the last one, I actually bring the Poison Terra Nasty Blood Rotom Wash set. Again, he brings the game from the team from the first game. This time around, I go straight for the Goldengo. He goes for the Bullet Seed, which does insane damage. This one is a Specs Goldengo, so I just go for the Make It Rain to do as much damage as possible. Does a shit ton of damage, and I go for the Rotom just in case he goes for something else. I mean, not because of that, but because I didn't want to kill Dragonite and let Roaring Moon set up on me again. I go for the Shadow Ball just in case, and actually now that I think about it, this guy was lucky because he hit me 3 and 4 times with the Bullet Seed. He gave me the Breloom, which was one of the biggest threats last game. I go for the Phantom. I go for the T-Bolt. I knew it was Zoroark since it didn't activate the booster. He probably expected me to go King Gambit, but I didn't have to. I go for the Hydro Pump. I knew he expected to be faster probably, which I don't know if you're running Sash, why are you not running max speed? That was weird to me. I can get a U-turn up here and bring the Sandy Chucks in, because he brings in the D-Knight. I go for this Terra Fairy, and I don't mind because I know he's going to Terra here with the Moon, but if I can force it, it's still good for me, because then I can go for, because this Dragapult is banded, so I can go for the Sucker Punch and then secure the Sucker Punch with Gambit himself. At this point, I go for my off Gambit, and he brings in the Zoroark, which I know is going to trick me. So I go directly for the Valiant, and unfortunately I was not mixed but fully attack, because otherwise from Moonblast I would have just swept through all of this. He smartly plays the belly drum here because it's going to be what's gonna make him the most deathful to me. But I run some cogs. King Gambit is at full HP, and it's going to be faster because I'm max speed, and I win the game here at this point. I didn't really matter. I just clicked the Koto Cleave, and with this I was on into the finals. And I didn't end up playing the finals because there were 3 spots, and to the other end of the finals, I forget the name, let me see. Yeah, on the other semifinals, TFG Spectre, the guy lost to the first set. I played Gassy Flower, and I think, yeah, Gassy won. And there were 3 spots available, so by that time they thought that they had decided that both TFG Spectre, Gassy, and myself were selected for the team. So I actually didn't. That was semifinals. I get to the finals, but we didn't play it just because there was no point to it, because we were already selected by the team. And yep, that's basically the journey on how I joined a Latin American World Cup team. It starts in June, so I'll be loading up Heat as well. I don't plan on doing those lives because I've noticed that I play worse when I'm playing live because I focus too much on trying to speak and play at the same time. But I'll definitely do the same as this. I'll save the replays. Well, the replays will probably be public as well, and I'll go over my games as well. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. This is going to be my first official tournament of some sort on competitive Pokemon, so I hope I do well for the sake of my team as well. And I hope you'll be following me and cheering for the Latin American team as well. So I'll see you until the next one. See you.